you could definitely make the argument that we made it significantly worse.
What could those black
And
swirls
now,
be?
of course, we're gonna free the shit out of you.
Why did you even come here?
Also, I'm assuming everyone saw the text of these shades, whose language we could hear, talking about how we're the real monsters and we're, you know, we're the cursed beings and so on and so forth. Yeah.
What's happening? By my pages, is this beast a shade as well? That thing sucked up the villagers.
Is that what happened? Are you sure?
No! If we keep this up, we're gonna kill them all! We can't let that happen!
Our village, our world. Where am I? Who am I?
I feel something from within the creature.
Don't worry, NieR doesn't care. He just wants to murder it.
Is this the combined power of all those shades?
It will take more than a barrage of magic to stop us. The
I
first
mean,
to waver is the first to die.
debatable.
I sense magic coming from the center of that eye.
That didn't quite lock on where I wanted it to.
Wait!
That's
I
okay.
think those are actual people!
Hold nothing back. Those are shades.
Yep. Just... Weiss is interesting in all of this
To deflect magic.
because
Now, focus
he
your
knows
magic on the beast's
he
center.
knows better than most what's actually going on here. I mean, his information is not perfect, but he sort of just, despite having like reasoning skills, he just kind of goes along with. He is the one who reveals that shades are people.
Look out! Something's coming!
Its weak point is located around the back. Try attacking it from above.
Ow.
I'll try to pin it down!
But there is a, whoops. You know what? If the story ended there, we'd probably all be better off.
I'll keep it busy! You should be able to attack from behind!
Yeah, anyway, there's a...
Get it. Please,
there-
hurry!
Right.
Emil can handle this. We must circle behind the creature at once.
Hey, Kaine. You doing okay? All right, I'll be right back. I forgot where the ladder is.
Move closer. You
Oh,
can't
it's-
harm it from below.
I know, Weiss. Anyway, there's a memory recovery thing that goes on there. So, like, Weiss isn't working with perfect information, but he knows a lot.
You must strike it in the eye.
Are you there yet?
But because of the influence of his traveling companion, who thinks about nothing.
Did we get it?
It is escaping to the inner level.
I'm coming. Gotta catch my breath.
Nailed it.
Careful, Emil. Won't help anyone if we lose you here.
Weiss just kind of goes along with the whole, like, oh yeah, murder all the shades. This is a good plan.
Beyond even my greatest suspicion.
Like, Weiss is the one who said, yes, our mission is to kill every last shade. Which is arguably what caps this whole thing off.
Take it out!
I'm on it.
That's kind of the point, though. Weiss doesn't personally have any real stake in the fight. I mean, other than just, like, secondhand caring about Yonah. Like, he doesn't have a personal, particular reason to have the hate boner that NieR does for shades. He just goes along with it. Oh yeah, no. Emil's absolutely a fire in his laser.
Emil, wait.
And now that he's done that, it's time for the Vegeta attack.
Emil!
He's gone. His instincts have taken hold. The ultimate weapon is being deployed.
Ah, fuck. This ain't good, Sunshine.
I don't know, that might be under 9,000. It might be under 9,000 total casualties. Yeah, it's cratered. Yeah. Uncontrollable magic. I have to protect the people I love. That was my only thought as I unleashed a magic powerful enough to destroy not only the Shade, but everyone else as well. All of them. So many innocent lives. Destroy, eviscerate, crush, kill. Those are the dark impulses that overwrite all other thoughts. As a being that was created to be a magical weapon, these are my instincts. Or maybe it's better to call them our instincts. I forgot about this. I didn't realize I was going to have more reading. Yoko Taro wanted to tell more story than Square would give him budget to tell. So he just put it in a book. Is it not in the original? Okay. A klaxon sounds from deep within the bowels of the laboratory. Thick metal shutters drop down, sealing off the room with a series of dull metal thuds. Abort the experiment. Number 6 is out of control. Everyone get out of there now. Get out of here. The researcher's words are abruptly cut off as a massive hand materializes out of the gloom and lifts him high into the air. The researcher begins to scream. He screams and screams, the sound echoing off the walls of the laboratory until the hand squeezes down, coating the room in a deep crimson hue. The rest of his colleagues stand in silence, mouths open, unable to process what they have just seen. Then a female scientist takes a step back and lets fly with a heartbreaking wail. But this is a terrible mistake, for the sound of her cry suddenly brings forth a monster in all its terrible glory. Its body is a bloated corpse, its head a grinning skull. And it is massive, many times the size of a human. The head lolls from side to side as it tromps around about the room on all fours, bringing to mind the wild maneuverings of some wretched, starving beast. Hey, I remember that. This creature, this thing, is experimental weapon number 6, also known as Halua. No, oh no, please stop! Oh God, save me! I don't want to die. You should have thought about that. One by one, the maddened cries of the researchers are silenced. If number 6 understands their petitions, it pays them no heed, instead continuing on its rampage of destruction and slaughter, with a focus that borders on obsession. After an eternity, the screaming stops. The alarms fall silent, and only then does the creature make a sound, howling out with an unfathomable roar that echoes up and down the empty halls of the blood-soaked laboratory. It's a sound that curses those who had dared bring such evil into the world, and yet one that also seems to be pleading for help. Two sets of footsteps echo in an otherwise silent corridor in the first level of the laboratory. One set belongs to a young boy, his eyes blindfolded and his hands restrained. The other belongs to a severe man in a long white coat. Oh, I'm glad you liked it, Sel. It was actually, I don't know when you ate it. I ate mine just before the stream, and it was actually a little... It honestly wasn't as good as it usually is. I feel like it got a little stale. Usually, like, it had like a sort of firm layer to it. And, I know what you mean, and I'm just rolling with it. You know what? Give it a few minutes, and I'm sure you can find something better. Yeah, the flavor's great. It needed to be fresher. We only waited probably a couple of hours on ours. But I was like, oh man, I should have eaten this I should have eaten this when we got it. But, you know, we can do that another time. Not the best baklava I've had, but maybe second. The man drags the boy along by means of a long chain attached to a set of shackles on his wrists. Rubble is scattered here and there across the floor of the corridor, bark, making the journey Rubble is scattered here and there across the floor of the corridor, making the journey an exceedingly difficult one for a boy who cannot see. Excuse me. Could you please walk a bit slower, sir? I'm not used to being blindfolded, and... Rather than stopping, the man only increases his pace, causing the boy to stumble in an attempt to keep up. This last humiliation proves too much, and the boy finds himself unable to arrest his fall. Without the ability to brace himself, he topples to the floor, smashing his head on a pile of debris and causing a trickle of blood to worm its way down his pale, frightened face. Agonized by the pain, the boy inadvertently opens his eyes, causing the falling drops of blood to emit a strange crackling sound before transforming into tiny white rocks. "Close your damn eyes!" roars the man. "Yes, sir," stammers the boy as he slams his lid shut. He hadn't realized the blindfold had slipped off during the fall, and now he keeps his eyes squeezed shut so tightly that sparkles appear before against the black of his vision. The boy is, yeah, I get that it's Emil, thanks. Also known as Number 7. He has a magical weapon whose eyes are capable of turning to stone anything that falls under their gaze. "Don't look at me," barks the man. "Never look at me." "I'm sorry, sir, I'm looking at the ground now, so if you just hand me the blind..." Instead of waiting for him to finish, the man extends one foot and presses Emil's face to the floor with a heavy black boot. "Sir, stop, you're hurting me. I told you to keep your eyes and mouth shut, so do it." No, he didn't. The man knows this boy, this weapon, could wipe him out with a single glance. And yet subduing him in this way gives him a sense of relief. After making certain the boy is sufficiently cowed, the man leans down, retrieves the blindfold, and knots it tightly around the boy's quivering head. "Right then. On your feet. Let's move." Emil staggers to his feet, trying to ignore the red liquid oozing down his face. The blood doesn't matter. The pain doesn't matter. All that matters is finishing the job they had set out for him to do. The second level of the laboratory is in even worse shape than the first. The environs are littered with rubble and rock, making the thought of a decent foothold laughable. When the man's eyes linger on a section of rubble stained a deep red, is a sudden image of warm, gooey brownies slathered in a strawberry sauce. His stomach lurches at the thought. When he attempts to avert his eyes, they land on the remains of a human being, rendered into what can only be described as paste. The man blinks. His mind goes strangely blank before attempting to determine exactly how many humans had to be sacrificed to create the scattered piles of flesh around him. After a moment, his thoughts simply cease altogether, as if his mind realizes that trying to put such a thing into form is folly. You can go the rest of the way on your own," says the man in a voice much weaker than he wishes it to be. "I mean, what does it matter? You're not even human. You're a monster." The recurring theme in this game. With this, the man spins around and dashes back down the hall. A helpless Emil simply listens as the footsteps of his erstwhile captor fade into the distance. Emil finds himself alone in a room with the stench of death and blood. For a moment, he considers opening his eyes, but the thought of the horrors that await him quickly squashed this plan. Instead, he stands still and listens intently. Eventually, a far-off sound reaches his ears. That's the howl I heard before. Emil resumes walking, using the sound of the distant voice to guide him, almost as if it was calling him home. By the time Emil reaches the third level, he is moving on memory as much as sound. His hands and face are covered in fresh wounds from numerous falls, but every time he thinks about giving up, his mind returns to his sister. We studied together. We ate cookies together. We cried together. We laughed together. And sometimes I was the only one who got yelled at. That's why I was never lonely. Our being together allowed me to stay strong. For Emil, his sister was all he had to live for. And holding that feeling close to his chest, he presses on, one slow step after the other. Finally, Emil finds himself drawing close to a certain experimental chamber in the deepest part of the laboratory. The howl is very close now, and he touches the switch that controls the door. As he touches the switch that controls the door, he thinks about his mission. Number 6 is the ultimate weapon. She is his sister, and he must turn her to stone. The door slowly opens, revealing the massive interior of the experimentation chamber. After a few steps, Emil removes his blindfold and slowly opens his eyes. His sister lurks before him, but she looks nothing like the girl he once knew. Instead, he sees a savage beast crawling on all fours through the shredded remains of researchers. As the thing that had been his sister stops and tilts its head in Emil's direction, he focuses his gaze on it. A series of soft crunching sounds emerge from the creature as his magic does its terrible work. First the fingers, then the hands, arms, legs, head. What little color the beast once possessed fades to a dull ashen gray. And yet somehow, it summons what little strength remains and pulls itself toward Emil, one slow, lumbering effort at a time. Wailing, the massive monstrosity closes in. Is she worried about me? Or is she coming to kill me? Emil feels prepared to accept either outcome. After all, this was his older sister, the person he loved more than anyone else in the world. Halua, The moment Emil speaks, number 6 comes to a sudden halt. Silence descends on the chamber as the siblings stare at each other. I'm sorry, Halua, but everyone says you're too powerful. They say it's too dangerous unless I seal you away. I'm so sorry. As Emil watches her body begin to turn to stone once more, number 6 simply waits in utter, perfect silence. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry! Oh, wow. The moment number 6's petrification is complete, her memories flood into Emil's mind. The two of them huddling together in the cold, all alone in the world with no one to protect them. All she wanted was to save her little brother. And yet it was that little brother who, in a sense, saved her. The moment the petrification is complete, Emil sinks to his knees. A frozen sister and a little brother racked with sin. Alone in this cold cage, the two of them weep in a single silent voice. It was our combined power that destroyed the Harrie. Whole existences, entire lives, even their memories. We took it all. We took everything. My sweet, gentle sister turned into a monster. And the same thing will happen to me now that I have her power. If my instincts as a weapon win out and destroy me in the process, that power ends up hurting someone I love.
What have I done? I killed innocent people. I killed them all.
But you saved us. If it wasn't for you, we'd all be dead. We owe you.
But I...
It's all right. Really? Don't look back.
Don't look back.
We had best be off.
Yeah.
NieR says the sacrifice of innocent lives is completely justified as long as you can tell yourself that you did it to save someone you care about more. Wow, I can't actually jump up that. I can't zoom the camera, but yeah, you can kind of... I think right there on that little plank that has the lunar tears on it, I think that is, I think that's Kaine's, crayon drawing. Oh yeah, the thin justification that NieR has for his actions and the party's actions.
This is the last of them.
Now we can find the Shadow Lord and Yonah.
Become less justifiable with every
certainly
passing
can.
moment.
Hold on, Yonah. I'm almost there.
We should return to Popola and see if she has any final words for us.
Yeah, in a minute. Whoops. This feels
What
new.
is it?
This seems new.
So, we can finally save Yonah now, huh?
It would appear that way. What is it, lad? You've quite the pensive look on your face.
Listen, I need your advice.
Oh?
It's about Kaine and Emil.
Okay.
This upcoming fight with the Shadow Lord is gonna be rough. And while I'd do anything for Yonah, I'm not sure it's fair to drag the two of them into this.
It's not.
Are you truly worried about such a thing now? After all our merry little band has been through?
Hey, the fuck's this hot garbage you've been spewing?
All right, Kaine, let's hear it.
Someone's been eavesdropping, eh?
Kaine, Emil, look, I just...
Wanted to leave us behind? Why, so we'd be safe? Fuck that.
Kaine's right. You accepted me. You told me we'd be together no matter what happens. Now it's time for us to return the favor.
Don't make me start talking about loyalty and debts and all that. You know I hate mushy shit.
But...
If it makes you feel better, we're not doing it for free.
Wait, you guys are getting paid?
After we rescue Yonah, we're totally gonna call in a favor of our own. We're going on a journey to cure Kaine's possession and restore my body.
Oh. Oh, they would give us this on the second playthrough. You are about to miss some plot, but probably prioritize human contact. Contact.
It's gonna be tons of fun. Just think of all the delicious local foods we can try along the way.
Yo, Emil's got it figured out. He knows exactly what we're supposed to be looking for.
I'm gonna eat way more than my fair share. So you better get ready to pony up.
I do have lots of money.
Thanks, you two. We're gonna rescue Yonah. I swear it.
I marvel at how relatively simple a task this retrieval process proved to be. It is almost as if someone deliberately set us on this path.
Almost.
You're overthinking again, Weiss.
But
I don't care if it's a trap. Yonah's waiting for me and I'm going.
She's
I
not,
see.
actually. The Yonah that exists right now, not waiting for you. All right. Hey, you know what? I'm playing this tomorrow. So maybe I can actually plant things now.